Have you ever felt the pain of watching a man slowly pull away from you? The calls become less frequent. The messages get shorter. The attention that once felt effortless suddenly disappears. Your first instinct may be to chase him, question him, or desperately try to win back his interest. But what if the very thing you're doing is pushing him even further away? When a man starts distancing himself from you, your natural reaction may be to close the gap as quickly as possible. You might feel tempted to send another message, ask what is wrong, check if he is okay, or try harder to get the connection back to where it once was. These reactions are completely understandable because nobody enjoys uncertainty, especially when emotions are involved. However, the moment you begin chasing someone who is pulling away, you place yourself in a position where your emotional well-being becomes dependent on their response. Every unanswered text feels heavier. Every delayed reply creates more anxiety. Every small sign of attention becomes something you desperately hold on to. Many women believe that increasing effort will solve the problem. They think that if they show more love, more patience, or more understanding, the distance will disappear. But attraction and emotional connection rarely grow through pressure. When someone chooses to create space, constantly pursuing them often makes that space feel even more necessary. Instead of bringing them closer, it can unintentionally encourage them to continue pulling away. What makes chasing so dangerous is that it slowly shifts your focus away from yourself. Your thoughts become centered around what he is doing, why he is acting differently, and what you can do to change the situation. Days become consumed by analyzing messages, checking social media activity, and searching for clues about his feelings. Meanwhile, your own goals, happiness, and peace of mind begin to take a back seat. The strongest thing you can do is pause. Resist the urge to react emotionally. Give yourself permission to stop pursuing answers that are not being offered willingly. Allow the situation to unfold naturally instead of forcing it. This is not about playing games or trying to manipulate someone into missing you. It is about respecting yourself enough to recognize that affection, attention, and effort should flow both ways. A confident woman understands that her worth is not determined by one person's level of interest. She does not need to convince someone to see her value. She does not need to repeatedly prove why she deserves love, respect, or attention. She understands that healthy relationships are built on mutual effort, not one-sided pursuit. When you stop chasing, you create room to observe reality clearly. You begin to see whether the connection is genuinely important to him or whether you have been carrying the entire relationship on your shoulders. That clarity is far more valuable than temporary reassurance because it protects your heart, preserves your dignity, and reminds you that you deserve someone who willingly chooses you every single day. One of the biggest mistakes people make when a man starts distancing himself is turning all of their attention toward his behavior. They spend hours wondering what changed, replaying old conversations, analyzing every text message, and searching for hidden meanings in every interaction. The more they focus on him, the less they focus on themselves. This creates a dangerous cycle because your happiness becomes tied to something you cannot control. Another person's actions, the moment you notice yourself becoming consumed by his distance, it is time to redirect that energy back where it belongs. Instead of asking why he is acting differently, ask yourself how you can continue growing. Instead of checking your phone every few minutes, invest time in activities that improve your life. Reconnect with friends, pursue your goals, develop new skills, and engage in the hobbies that bring you joy. These are not distractions. They are reminders that your life is bigger than any single relationship. Many people underestimate how attractive personal growth can be. Confidence is not something you gain from receiving constant attention from someone else. It comes from knowing that your happiness, purpose, and identity exist independently of any relationship. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally radiate a sense of strength that others can feel. You stop appearing needy because your fulfillment no longer depends on external validation. It is also important to remember that overthinking rarely provides answers. Most of the scenarios we create in our minds are based on fear rather than facts. You may convince yourself that you did something wrong, that he has lost interest, or that the relationship is doomed. In reality, you may not know the full story at all. Spending countless hours trying to solve a mystery only drains your emotional energy and creates unnecessary stress. By focusing on yourself, you regain a sense of control. You cannot force someone to communicate, care, or stay interested, but you can control how you respond. You can choose growth over worry, action over obsession, and self-respect over desperation. Every minute spent improving your life is a minute invested in your future rather than wasted on uncertainty. The truth is that the right relationship should complement your life, not become your entire life. When you continue moving forward despite someone's distance, you send a powerful message to yourself. Your value does not disappear when someone's attention does. You remain worthy, capable, and complete regardless of who chooses to stay or walk away. That mindset creates emotional resilience and allows you to face any relationship challenge with confidence and grace. When a man begins to ignore you or create distance, one of the most important things you can protect is your dignity. Emotions can make people act in ways they normally would not. The fear of losing someone can lead to repeated messages, emotional outbursts, constant explanations, or attempts to convince the other person to stay. While these reactions may come from a place of love and concern, they often leave you feeling worse because they require you to sacrifice your self-respect for temporary attention. A woman who values herself understands that love should never require begging. Genuine interest does not need endless persuasion. If someone wants to be part of your life, they will make an effort to communicate, connect, and maintain the relationship. You should never have to repeatedly remind someone of your worth or convince them to treat you with basic respect. The moment you start pleading for attention, you place your happiness in another person's hands and give away the power that belongs to you. Maintaining your dignity means remaining calm even when you feel hurt. It means refusing to send emotional messages that you may later regret. It means resisting the urge to demand explanations from someone who is unwilling to provide them. Most importantly, it means understanding that your value remains the same, regardless of how someone else chooses to behave. Their distance does not define your worth. Their silence does not diminish your importance. Many people believe that holding on to dignity means pretending not to care. That is not true. You can care deeply about someone and still maintain your self-respect. You can feel disappointed and still refuse to chase. You can be hurt and still choose to respond with grace rather than desperation. True strength is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to control your actions despite those emotions. When you maintain your dignity, you create a powerful foundation of self-confidence. You begin to realize that rejection, distance, or silence from another person does not determine your future. You stop measuring your value by how much attention you receive. Instead, you measure it by the standards you set for yourself and the respect you demand in your relationships. People are naturally drawn to those who know their worth. A woman who carries herself with confidence, self-respect, and emotional maturity stands out because she refuses to compromise her standards for validation. She understands that attention gained through begging is never as valuable as attention given freely. By protecting your dignity during difficult moments, you not only preserve your peace of mind, but you also remind yourself that you deserve a relationship built on mutual effort, respect, and genuine appreciation. One of the hardest truths to accept when a man distances himself is that his actions often reveal more than his words ever could. Many people become trapped in confusion because they focus on promises, excuses, or mixed signals instead of paying attention to consistent behavior. They hold on to what was said months ago while ignoring what is happening right in front of them. This creates false hope and keeps them emotionally attached to a version of the relationship that may no longer exist. When someone genuinely cares about you, their actions will usually reflect that care. They make time for you even when life gets busy. They communicate because they want to stay connected. They show interest because your presence matters to them. No relationship is perfect, and everyone goes through periods of stress or distraction, but consistent effort is difficult to hide. In the same way, a lack of effort is also difficult to hide. Many women spend months trying to decode confusing behavior. They tell themselves that he is just busy, overwhelmed, or dealing with personal issues. While those things can certainly happen, there comes a point when excuses become more frequent than genuine effort. When that happens, it is important to stop listening to what you hope is true and start observing what is actually happening. Reality may be uncomfortable, but it is always more helpful than illusion. Allowing his actions to reveal the truth requires emotional maturity. It means stepping back and becoming an observer instead of a constant participant. Rather than chasing answers, you watch what he chooses to do when there is no pressure. Does he reach out? Does he make an effort to maintain the connection? Does he show genuine interest in your life? The answers often become clear when you stop forcing interactions and let his choices speak for themselves. This approach also protects you from investing too much energy in someone who is not equally invested in you. When you rely on actions instead of assumptions, you avoid creating stories in your mind that may not be true. You stop wasting emotional energy on endless possibilities and start making decisions based on facts. That clarity can save you from months or even years of uncertainty. The truth is that people reveal their priorities through their behavior. Someone who values you will find ways to stay connected. Someone who wants to be part of your life will make room for you in it. And someone who continually chooses distance is also communicating something, even if they never say it out loud. By trusting actions over words, you gain the wisdom to recognize where you truly stand. That knowledge empowers you to make healthier decisions, protect your heart, and invest your love where it is genuinely appreciated and returned. When a man distances himself from you, one of the most powerful things you can develop is emotional detachment. Many people misunderstand this concept and assume it means becoming cold, uncaring, or emotionally unavailable. In reality, emotional detachment is not about shutting off your feelings. It is about refusing to allow your emotions to be controlled by another person's actions. It means caring without losing yourself, loving without becoming dependent, and staying strong even when things do not go according to your expectations. The reason emotional detachment is so important is because attachment to outcomes creates suffering. When you become overly attached to receiving a text, getting a phone call, or hearing the words you want to hear, your mood begins to rise and fall based on someone else's behavior. One good message can make your entire day, while one ignored message can ruin it. This gives another person enormous influence over your emotional well-being. Healthy relationships are built between two complete individuals, not between one person and another person's validation. The moment your happiness depends entirely on someone else's attention, you begin giving away your personal power. You start seeking reassurance instead of confidence. You begin chasing certainty instead of creating stability within yourself. Emotional detachment helps you break free from that cycle. This doesn't mean you stop caring about the relationship. It simply means you stop making your peace of mind dependent on the outcome. You accept that you cannot control another person's feelings, choices, or level of commitment. What you can control is how you respond. You can choose self-respect over desperation. You can choose patience over panic. You can choose inner peace over constant anxiety. One of the greatest benefits of emotional detachment is clarity. When you are no longer consumed by fear of losing someone, you begin seeing situations more objectively. You notice patterns you may have ignored before. You recognize whether the effort is mutual or one-sided. You stop making excuses for behavior that does not align with your standards. Instead of viewing everything through the lens of emotion, you start evaluating the relationship through the lens of reality. Emotional detachment also strengthens your confidence because it reminds you that your future is not dependent on any one person. Whether someone stays or leaves, your life continues. Your goals remain important. Your dreams still matter. Your happiness is still possible. The more you embrace this mindset, the less power uncertainty has over you. A confident woman understands that she can love deeply without losing her sense of self. She knows that her value is not determined by someone's attention, affection, or approval. By creating emotional detachment, she protects her heart, preserves her peace, and develops the strength to face any relationship challenge with grace, wisdom, and unwavering self-worth. When a man distances himself from you, it is easy to put your life on hold while you wait for answers. Many women find themselves stuck in a state of emotional suspension, hoping that he will come back, explain himself, or suddenly return to the way things used to be. Days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, all while they remain focused on someone who may no longer be investing in the relationship. This is why one of the most important things you can do is continue moving forward with confidence, regardless of what he decides. Your future should never be placed on pause because of another person's uncertainty. The goals you had before him still matter. The dreams you were pursuing are still worth chasing. The passions that brought you joy are still available to you. A relationship should add value to your life, but it should never become the sole source of your purpose. When you keep moving forward, you remind yourself that your identity is much bigger than your relationship status. Confidence is not about pretending that you are unaffected. It is not about acting as though you never cared. Real confidence comes from knowing that you will be okay no matter what happens. It comes from trusting yourself enough to handle disappointment, rejection, or unexpected changes without allowing them to define your entire life. Confident people experience pain just like everyone else, but they refuse to let that pain stop their progress. One of the most attractive qualities a person can possess is a strong sense of purpose. When you continue investing in yourself, learning new skills, improving your health, building meaningful friendships, and pursuing your ambitions, you create a life that feels fulfilling and rewarding. Instead of constantly wondering what someone else is doing, you become focused on creating a future that excites you. This shift in focus is incredibly empowering because it places control back into your own hands. Moving forward with confidence also means accepting uncertainty. You may not know whether he will return. You may not know what he is thinking or feeling, but you do not need all the answers to continue living your life. Waiting for certainty before taking action often keeps people trapped in situations that no longer serve them. Growth happens when you choose to keep moving despite unanswered questions. The truth is that whether he comes back or not, your journey continues. If he returns and proves through consistent actions that he values you, you can evaluate the situation from a position of strength rather than desperation. If he never returns, you will already be building a life that is rich with purpose and fulfillment. Either way, you win because your happiness is no longer dependent on someone else's choices. A woman who moves forward with confidence sends a powerful message to the world and to herself. She understands that her worth is not determined by who stays, who leaves, or who fails to recognize her value. She knows that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and every setback is a chance to become stronger. By continuing to move forward, she transforms pain into power, uncertainty into wisdom, and disappointment into a deeper understanding of her own strength and limitless potential. When a man distances himself and ignores you, don't panic, don't chase, don't beg, don't lose yourself trying to keep someone else. Instead, step back, focus on your growth, maintain your dignity, trust his actions, detach from the outcome, and continue moving forward with confidence. The right person will never require you to abandon your self-respect to earn their attention. Remember this, your value does not decrease simply because someone fails to recognize it.